Most truck buyers think any popular model is a safe bet, but what if I told you that 12 trucks on dealer lots right now will financially cripple their owners by 2026? Vehicles that look like solid investments today, but are ticking time bombs of depreciation and repair costs. In this video, we're counting down the 12 trucks that won't survive 2026, ranked from bad to absolutely catastrophic, based on depreciation data, reliability reports, and market analysis. And trust me, some of these might be sitting in your driveway right now. From engines with known $4,000 failures to brands abandoning entire platforms, these trucks are facing a perfect storm of financial disaster. And here's the kicker. The number one truck on this list has already been discontinued by its own manufacturer. Stick with me to the end, because this isn't just about resale value. It's about avoiding vehicles that'll lose half their worth while hitting you with massive repair bills. Miss this, and you could be stuck making payments on a truck that's already financially dead. Let's count down from number 12 to the absolute worst financial disaster waiting to happen. Number 12, Buick Enclave. The Enclave represents everything wrong with three-row SUVs in today's market. Three-row vehicles already suffer some of the worst depreciation in the industry, and the Enclave takes that weakness and amplifies it. This thing is projected to lose well over 50% of its value by 2026. Here's why it's on this list. Buick's reliability ratings sit firmly in average territory, ranking 13th out of 34 brands. That's not terrible, but it's not good enough to offset the depreciation tsunami coming its way. The mass-market three-row SUV segment is oversaturated, and the Enclave doesn't bring anything exceptional to the table. No standout reliability, no remarkable fuel economy, just a steady march toward financial oblivion for anyone who bought one at peak prices in 2021 or 2022. The problem with three-row SUVs is structural. Families buy them new, drive them hard with kids and cargo, then trade them in when the kids grow up or the vehicle shows wear. This creates a flooded secondary market where supply vastly exceeds demand. The Enclave suffers from this dynamic more than most because it lacks the brand prestige to command premium used prices. You're not buying a Lexus or even a Honda, you're buying a Buick, and the market prices that accordingly. Number 11, Nissan Frontier. The Frontier got a complete redesign, and it still can't escape its fundamental problem. It loses nearly 40% of its value after 5 years. That sounds close to the truck average of 40.4%, right? Here's the issue. Its main competitor, the Toyota Tacoma, only loses about 26% of its value. The Tacoma retains roughly 74% of what you paid for it. The Frontier, you're looking at keeping only about 60%. That gap represents thousands of dollars in lost value that you'll never recover. Let's put real numbers on this. If you buy a Frontier for $40,000, you're losing about $16,000 over 5 years just to depreciation. Buy a Tacoma for the same price, and you're only losing about $10,500. That's a $5,500 difference in your pocket. And that's before we even factor in potential differences in repair costs and fuel economy. The secondary market has spoken, and buyers don't trust the Frontier enough to pay competitive prices. Even with the redesign, Nissan hasn't closed the massive reliability perception gap that separates it from segment leaders. Nissan has struggled with quality issues across multiple models for years, and that reputation follows every vehicle they produce into the used market. Number 10, Honda Ridgeline. The Ridgeline loses over 42% of its value in 5 years, and there's a very specific reason why. It's a unibody truck in a segment that demands body-on-frame toughness. Honda built a truck that prioritizes ride comfort and car-like handling, and the market has punished them for it relentlessly. Traditional truck buyers don't want what the Ridgeline is selling. They want towing capacity, off-road capability, and the rugged image that comes with a real truck platform. The Ridgeline's innovative bed design and smooth ride don't matter when the used market sees it as a compromised vehicle that can't do real truck work. The in-bed trunk is clever. The dual-action tailgate is practical. The comfortable ride is genuinely superior to body-on-frame competitors. None of it matters. Here's the fundamental problem. The ridgeline exists in an identity crisis. It's too expensive to compete with crossovers, but it doesn't offer the capability that justifies truck pricing. When a buyer needs a real truck, they buy a Tacoma, Colorado, or Ranger. When they want comfort and efficiency, they buy a crossover or SUV. The ridgeline falls into the gap between these needs, and the secondary market reflects that with brutal honesty. If you're thinking about selling, now's the time. The gap between what truck buyers want and what the ridgeline offers is only getting wider as competitors modernize their platforms and add hybrid powertrains. The ridgeline will continue to be a comfortable, practical vehicle, but that won't stop its value from cratering as the market moves on. Number 9, Ford Expedition. Between 2021 and 2025, the Expedition has developed a reputation for problems that no one wants to deal with outside of warranty. We're talking about engines stalling at low speeds, excessive oil consumption that can grenade your motor if you're not constantly monitoring levels, fuel pump failures that leave you stranded, and air conditioning systems that fail so consistently it's become a known issue among owners. These aren't isolated incidents. Multiple model years show the same patterns of failure, indicating systemic issues rather than random defects. Engine stalling is particularly dangerous because it can occur in traffic, creating safety hazards beyond just the inconvenience of a breakdown. Excessive oil consumption forces owners into a pattern of constant monitoring and topping off, turning routine ownership into a maintenance burden that shouldn't exist on a modern vehicle. Here's what makes this catastrophic for 2026. Full-size SUVs already average about $784 per year in unscheduled repairs and maintenance under normal circumstances. The Expedition's documented issues push those costs substantially higher once the warranty expires. When these problems manifest after you've lost factory coverage, you're looking at repair bills that can easily hit thousands of dollars. Engine repairs related to oil consumption can require extensive teardown and rebuild. Fuel system repairs involve expensive pumps and diagnostic work. Air conditioning system repairs on modern vehicles with complex climate control can exceed $1,000. Number 8, Lincoln Nautilus. Lincoln as a brand loses over 53% of its value in 5 years. The Nautilus is explicitly mentioned in forecasts projecting severe value loss by 2026, and it's easy to see why. This vehicle combines luxury depreciation with the mechanical risk present in other Ford platforms, like the Expedition we just discussed. The luxury crossover market is brutal. You're competing against Lexus and Audi, brands that deliver far superior long-term value retention through established reputations for reliability and prestige. Lexus models routinely top resale value charts. Audi maintains strong residual values through brand cachet and engineering reputation. Lincoln brings neither of these advantages. The Nautilus doesn't have the reliability reputation to command premium used prices. It shares platforms and components with Ford products, meaning it's exposed to many of the same mechanical risks without the luxury brand protection to offset those concerns. And it doesn't have the brand prestige to overcome that weakness. Lincoln has spent decades trying to re-establish itself as a true luxury brand, but the secondary market remains skeptical. Number 7, Cadillac Escalade. The Escalade is where things get truly expensive. This vehicle can lose over $23,000 in a single year when the factory warranty expires. That's not a typo. $23,000 in 1 year. Cadillac's brand average shows a 51% loss over 5 years, and the Escalade exemplifies why. Think about what that means in practical terms. You buy an Escalade in 2021 for $85,000. By year 3, it's worth about $60,000. That's already a $25,000 hit, but it's spread over 3 years and somewhat expected. Then year 4 hits. The warranty expires. The market knows what comes next. Your $60,000 Escalade is suddenly worth $37,000. You just watched $23,000 in value vanish in 12 months. But the depreciation is only half the story. The Escalade uses the same GM V8 engines that suffer from dynamic fuel management system failures. These are the lifter problems that can require complete engine rebuilds costing over $4,000 out of pocket. The DFM system deactivates cylinders under light load to improve fuel economy, but the mechanism that controls this process has proven unreliable across GM's entire V8 lineup. Number 6. Infiniti QX80. Infiniti as a brand retains only 38% of its value over 5 years. That's a 62% loss, making it one of the worst performing luxury brands in the entire market. The QX80 sits on an aging platform that hasn't kept pace with competitors, and the market has responded by absolutely destroying its resale value. The QX80's platform dates back over a decade in its fundamental architecture. While Infiniti has made updates and refreshes, the underlying bones of this vehicle are ancient by modern standards. In a market where technology advances rapidly and safety features evolve constantly, an aging platform becomes a massive liability. Buyers looking at used luxury SUVs can get newer platforms with better technology, superior safety systems, and more efficient powertrains for similar money. By 2026, the QX80 will be competing against newer, often hybridized luxury SUVs that offer better efficiency, more advanced technology, and stronger brand reputations. The QX80 brings none of those advantages. What it brings is an outdated platform wrapped in a brand that the secondary market doesn't trust. Infiniti has struggled with brand identity for years, never quite establishing itself as a true luxury alternative to established players. Number 5. Toyota Tundra, 2022 to 2023. This one is going to shock people because Toyota has built its reputation on bulletproof reliability and industry-leading resale values. The Tundra has historically been one of the safest truck purchases you could make. Toyota trucks are legendary for running forever with minimal maintenance. The brand commands premium prices specifically because buyers trust they won't face expensive problems. But the 2022 and 2023 models broke that tradition in spectacular fashion. The redesigned Tundra stumbled hard out of the gate. Build quality concerns emerged immediately, with owners reporting fit and finish issues that simply don't align with Toyota's reputation. Panel gaps, interior squeaks and rattles, and quality control lapses that would be unacceptable on any vehicle became particularly glaring on a truck wearing the Toyota badge. A glitchy infotainment system frustrated owners who expected the polish and reliability that Toyota is known for delivering. And then came the big one. An engine recall affecting approximately 230,000 Tundras with the base I-Force V6. The recall addressed issues with the engine that could lead to performance problems and potential failures. When a Toyota has an engine recall, that's not just a technical issue. That's a fundamental breach of trust with buyers who pay Toyota prices specifically to avoid problems like this. Toyota charges premium prices because they've earned a reputation for building vehicles that don't break. When you pay $50,000 or $60,000 for a Tundra, instead of buying a cheaper domestic alternative, you're paying for peace of mind. You're paying for the confidence that comes from decades of proven reliability. The 2022 and 2023 Tundras broke that social contract with buyers. Number 4. GMC Sierra 1500. The Sierra shares the same fundamental problem as its Chevrolet twin, but GMC makes it worse by having one of the worst brand reliability ratings in the industry. GMC ranks 31st out of 34 brands with a score of only 53 points. That's second to last among domestic brands. The market looks at that rating and immediately starts discounting every GMC vehicle to compensate for expected future problems. That reliability ranking isn't arbitrary. It reflects real-world data about how GMC vehicles perform over time, how often they require repairs, and how expensive those repairs tend to be. When a brand ranks that low, it signals to buyers that ownership will likely involve more trips to the service department and higher costs than average. The secondary market prices that risk into every transaction. The Sierra loses about 38% of its value over 5 years, which sounds reasonable until you factor in the dynamic fuel management lifter failures. This is the same GM-V8 problem we've mentioned, and it affects both the 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter engines. These lifter failures require expensive, complex repairs that often exceed $4,000 when done correctly. Number 3. Chevrolet Silverado 1500. The Silverado faces the exact same dynamic fuel management nightmare as the Sierra, but with slightly better brand recognition. That doesn't save it from financial disaster. The DFM system was designed to improve fuel efficiency by deactivating cylinders under light load. Instead, it created a latent mechanical time bomb, affecting GM's best-selling trucks. The Silverado is GM's volume leader, their most important product, and the vehicle that generates massive revenue for the company. The fact that GM released this engine with such a significant flaw across their entire truck lineup represents one of the most consequential quality failures in recent automotive history. We're not talking about a limited production sports car or a niche luxury model. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of trucks sold with this problem. The lifter failures are so widespread that they've become common knowledge among truck buyers. Forums are filled with owners documenting expensive repairs. YouTube videos show the teardown process and the extent of damage these failures cause. Consumer Reports has noted the issue repeatedly in their reliability assessments. The secondary market is fully aware, and they're responding by systematically discounting every Silverado with a DFM-equipped V8 to price in the repair risk. Number 2. Ram 1500. The Ram 1500 loses 44% of its value after 5 years, second only to the truck we're about to discuss. But the Ram's problems go beyond simple depreciation numbers. This truck carries a long-standing reputation for quality issues that the market has never forgotten. Even with some recent improvements in reliability scores, buyers remain skeptical. That skepticism translates directly into lower resale values. Ram has spent years trying to overcome a reputation for electrical problems, transmission issues, and general quality concerns that plagued earlier generations. While recent models have shown improvement in some reliability metrics, the brand damage persists. The secondary market has a long memory, and Ram's historical quality issues continue to suppress resale values even as the trucks themselves have gotten better. But here's what makes 2026 the inflection point. The 2025 model year brought a complete redesign, new exterior styling that modernizes the Ram's appearance, updated interior with improved technology and materials, and critically, 2 new Hurricane engine options that replace the legendary Hemi V8. This platform refresh instantly makes every 2021 through 2024 Ram obsolete in the eyes of the used market. The Hurricane engines represent a fundamental shift in Ram's powertrain strategy. The twin-turbocharged inline-6 engines offer improved efficiency and modern technology compared to the aging Hemi V8. They produce competitive power and torque while meeting stricter emissions requirements. For Ram, they represent the future. For owners of Hemi-powered trucks, they represent instant obsolescence. When a buyer can get the redesigned model with modern engine architecture, why would they pay competitive prices for the old platform? They won't. The previous generation gets hit with an immediate, brutal devaluation as soon as the new models hit dealer lots. This isn't gradual depreciation. This is a step function where your truck's value drops significantly simply because a better alternative exists. Number 1. Nissan Titan. The Titan doesn't just have the worst depreciation in the full-size segment, losing 44.2% of its value after 5 years. It has something far worse: confirmed market abandonment. Nissan announced that 2024 is the final model year for the Titan. Production ended in mid-2024. No replacement is coming. The manufacturer gave up on competing in the most important truck segment in America. When an automaker exits a segment entirely, they're sending the clearest possible signal about that vehicle's future. They're admitting they can't compete. They're admitting the investment required to develop a competitive next generation isn't justified by sales volumes. They're walking away from the segment and leaving current owners holding a product the manufacturer has declared a failure. No more development means the Titan will never get updates, improvements, or technology advancements. No more marketing support means dealerships will shift their focus and energy to products that actually have a future. No more competitive pressure to maintain parts availability or service quality means owners may face increasing difficulty getting their trucks serviced as years pass. The secondary market reads this as the manufacturer admitting defeat, and they respond accordingly. Why would a buyer pay competitive prices for a truck that's been abandoned? Why would they take on the risk of owning an orphan product when they could buy a truck from a manufacturer still committed to the segment? By 2026, the Titan will be 2 years removed from production. The market will have fully absorbed what discontinuation means for long-term ownership. There will be no 2025 or 2026 models to compare against, making the 2024 and earlier trucks feel increasingly dated. Resale values will reflect pure panic selling from owners trying to exit before values fall even further. The Titan was always a value play in the full-size truck segment. It offered competitive capability at lower prices than the Detroit 3. But that value proposition evaporates when the manufacturer exits the market. You're not getting a deal anymore. You're buying someone else's problem. And the secondary market will price accordingly, leaving current owners holding the bag on a truck that won't financially survive 2026. While these trucks face financial disaster, some engines are built to last forever. Check out our video on the top 27 car engines so reliable, they'll outlive you to see which powertrains actually hold their value and keep running long after everything else fails.